Hello, welcome back to another video on Vedic astrology. In this video, I'm going to talk about aspects. Aspects, as you all know, in Indian astrology has a different meaning than what is found in the English dictionary. Aspect means a planet is looking at another planet. Maybe we can consider replacing the word aspect with the word glancing to make it simple. But that's how it has been for hundreds of years in India. This is actually a easily understood topic in astrology, so why do another video on this? That may be on your mind. But let me tell you that aspect is one of the most misunderstood concepts in astrology. Because we all know that the planets, from wherever they are, always aspect with full 100% drishti, or what is called aspect, on the 7th house from itself. So usually when an astrologer wants to say if a planet is aspecting or not, he's just going to physically count the signs. Now where is this planet, and then you say that is number 1, and then move clockwise 2, 3, 4 and 5 on the South Indian chart, and then say look, it's aspecting at the 7th house. But Maharishi Parasara in Brihat Parasara Hora Sofware has very clearly given us the instructions on how to do the aspects. It involves a little bit of mathematics, but it's worth, because if you don't use it, you're going to make a very big mistake, because you often find this is usually a conditions apply on any particular combination, whether you're reading Bhrigu Sutra or if you're reading Brihat Parasara Hora Sofware. You most likely will come upon lines which say something like this. If a planet is aspecting, if a benefic is aspecting this planet, then this dosha does not happen. So you now know why the aspect is so important. And then the next point comes, can you do this carelessly? So in order to make you understand the seriousness of the aspects and the popular mistake that happens with regard to aspects, I have taken up a horoscope on Jagannatha Hora. If you haven't downloaded Jagannatha Hora, please download it. It's free and it's a very easy to use software. So now let's look at the chart in front of us. Doesn't matter what's the date of birth and time, it's just that I'm going to discuss this chart. If you look here from the ascendant, which is Mesha or Aries, you find that the ascendant is here, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those of you who have always stood by only the Rashi chart for counting, will say that Mars is in the 7th, and therefore this person is Manglik, meaning this person has got Mangal Dosha. Accepted. But for all those people who use the Bhava chart to find out the exact positions of planets, you can see here in the Bhava chart that Mars is actually not in the 7th house but is in the 8th house. But since we are discussing Mangal Dosha, it doesn't matter, because Mars gives Mangal Dosha if it is in the 7th or in the 8th. So that's not the point here. The point is, Maharishi Parasara says, while discussing Kuja Dosha or Mangal Dosha, he says that if Jupiter aspects Mars, then this dosha is cancelled. So let's look at this once again from that point of view. So you now know this rule, and therefore you look where Jupiter is, and then want to know whether Jupiter is looking at Mars or not. So the popular method is counting physically without considering the degrees, which is going to be a mistake. But let's continue with this. Jupiter 1, here 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 50% of the astrologers weren't aware of the seriousness of aspects and the instructions that Maharishi Parasara has given in Brihat Parasara Hora Sofware will say Jupiter does not aspect Mars. So if you go and tell him that, no, look, if you go into the degrees of planets, and then if you look at what Maharishi Parasara said, Jupiter does look at Mars. If you say that to him, if that person doesn't have this knowledge, he is not going to accept, and he's going to maintain that Jupiter does not aspect Mars. So let's see what is the truth behind this. Jupiter is at 3 degrees of Taurus and Mars in this case is at 29 degrees. So you can see that Mars is over this side and Jupiter is on this point. So easy way to understand this is, what if Jupiter was 3 degrees behind? It would have been here in Aries, from where he will look at Mars because it is in the 7th house. So just by moving 3 degrees away, you have now said that Jupiter ceases to aspect Mars. In reality, let's find out if Jupiter is aspecting Mars or not. So let's click here, view, and underneath that you find various options. Here is aspect table with relationships. So let's click that, and we got this table here, and on this side, on the left side, you find the aspecting planets. So let's look at Jupiter. Jupiter is looking at all these planets, and the maximum aspect value is 100, full aspect value is 100. And now Jupiter is looking at Sun at 72 out of 100, Moon 3 out of 100, Mars 86 out of 100. Wow. So surely Jupiter is influencing Mars, and this Mangal Dosha is cancelled. So let's go back to the chart and then look here. There is no way to understand that Jupiter is looking at Mars, because if you count physically, you will say Jupiter is not looking at Mars. So beware always, whenever you do any horoscope, next to the planet, please write out the degree in which the planet is in that particular sign. If you have written here Jupiter 3, and then since you know the 7th house aspect is maximum on 180th degree, you will know that 33 and plus 80, 180 plus 180, you will come to 3 degrees of Vrishika, the next sign. And Mars is pretty close to that point, and Mars is at 29. So 29, 30 over, and then 1, 2 and 3. So that's a deviation from the exact 100% drishti of Jupiter. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and more importantly, you should never write out a Rashi chart without writing the degrees next to the planets. Thank you so much for watching this video, and in case you have any doubts, please ask them, please type them out in the comment section, and whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you.